I almost didn't make it back from my trip to Italy last year, and it wasn't because of anything dramatic. It was because I ignored something so simple that I never thought twice about it. I'm 81 years old, and I've been traveling the world since I retired at 65. Europe, Asia, South America, you name it. But after 16 years of adventure, I've learned some hard lessons about what changes when you're traveling after 70. And today, I'm going to share 6 things that many seniors don't realize until it's too late. Now, I'm not here to scare you or tell you to stay home. Heck no. Travel is one of the greatest joys of retirement. But there are things we need to consider that we didn't have to think about when we were younger. Things that can make the difference between a dream vacation and a nightmare you'll never forget. So let me tell you what happened in Italy, and then we'll get into the 6 things every senior needs to know before booking that next trip. I was in Rome, walking through the Colosseum, having the time of my life. The weather was perfect, the food was incredible, and I felt like a kid again. But on day 3, I started feeling off. Just a little dizzy, a little tired. I figured it was jet lag, maybe too much walking. So I pushed through. Big mistake. By day 4, I collapsed in my hotel room. Turns out I had stopped taking one of my blood pressure medications because I forgot to pack enough pills for the whole trip. I thought I could just pick some up at a pharmacy in Rome. But here's what I didn't know. Italian pharmacies won't fill American prescriptions without jumping through a whole lot of hoops. And at 76 years old at the time, dealing with language barriers and foreign medical systems while feeling awful, that's not something you want to experience. So let's talk about the first thing you need to consider before traveling after 70. Number 1, medication management. This is absolutely critical. Many seniors don't realize that running out of medication abroad can be a serious problem. You can't just walk into a pharmacy in Paris or Bangkok and get your prescriptions refilled like you can at home. Different countries have different rules, different systems, different requirements. Here's what I do now. I pack at least 7 extra days worth of every medication I take. I keep them in the original bottles with the prescription labels clearly visible. I also carry a letter from my doctor listing all my medications, dosages, and medical conditions. And here's the kicker. I take a photo of every prescription bottle and save it on my phone. That way, even if my luggage gets lost, I have proof of what I need. Trust me on this one. Don't learn this lesson the hard way like I did. Number 2, medical insurance that actually works overseas. Now, here's something that catches a lot of folks by surprise. Medicare doesn't cover you outside the United States. Read that again. Medicare does not work in most foreign countries. I met a couple in Portugal who ended up with a $30,000 hospital bill because they assumed Medicare would cover them. It didn't. You need travel medical insurance specifically designed for international travel, and not just any insurance. You need coverage that includes medical evacuation. Because if something serious happens in a remote area, you might need to be airlifted to a proper medical facility. That can cost $100,000 or more without insurance. I pay about $200 for a 2-week trip to Europe with good coverage. It's the best money I spend on any vacation. Because peace of mind is priceless when you're far from home. Number 3, physical limitations that sneak up on you. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. What you could do at 65, you might not be able to do at 75. And what you could do at 75 might be different at 81. I learned this in Peru. I booked a trip to Machu Picchu, and I was so excited. But what I didn't consider was the altitude. Cusco sits at 11,000 feet above sea level. And let me tell you, at my age, altitude sickness is no joke. I spent the first 2 days of that trip in bed, miserable, feeling like I couldn't catch my breath. Now, I'm not saying don't go to high-altitude destinations, but you need to plan for it. Give yourself extra days to acclimate. Take it slow. Maybe skip that strenuous hike and take the bus instead. There's no shame in adjusting your plans to match your current abilities. Same thing with walking tours. Those European cobblestone streets look charming in photos, but they're murder on your knees and ankles after a few hours. These days, I book tours that include transportation and regular breaks. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. I'm trying to enjoy myself. And here's a big one that often gets overlooked. Number 4, mobility and accessibility issues abroad. Many countries don't have the same accessibility standards we have in the United States. Elevators might be small or non-existent. Bathrooms might not be equipped for people with mobility challenges. Streets might be steep and uneven. Public transportation might involve lots of stairs. I use a cane now. Nothing major, just helps with my balance. But in some cities I've visited, that cane has been a lifesaver because the terrain is so challenging. I always research accessibility before I book anything now. I look for hotels with elevators and ground floor rooms, if possible. I check if attractions have wheelchair access or assistance available. I plan my routes to avoid areas that might be too difficult to navigate. One more thing about this. Don't be too proud to ask for assistance. Airports offer wheelchair services even if you don't normally use a wheelchair. I use this service now when I fly internationally because those terminals can be massive, and I don't want to be exhausted before my trip even starts. Number 5. Travel fatigue is very real. When I was younger, I could handle a 12-hour flight, land in Tokyo, and hit the ground running. Now, I need a full day to recover from a long flight, maybe 2 days. Many seniors don't realize how much travel takes out of you as you get older. The jet lag hits harder. The time zone changes are more disruptive. The physical act of sitting on a plane for hours is more uncomfortable. And pushing through it isn't as easy as it used to be. So here's what I recommend. Build in rest days. Don't pack your itinerary so tight that you're running from one thing to the next. If you're doing a 2-week trip, plan for at least 2 or 3 days where you don't have any major activities scheduled. Just time to rest, adjust, and recharge. Also, consider breaking up long flights. Instead of flying direct from New York to Singapore, maybe stop in Dubai for a couple days. It costs a bit more, but it makes the journey so much easier on your body. And finally, number 6, emergency contacts and planning. This is something a lot of people overlook, but it's crucial. Before any trip, I make sure at least 2 people back home have copies of my itinerary, hotel information, flight details, and emergency contacts. I also register with the U.S. Embassy in whatever country I'm visiting through the State Department's STEP program. It's free, and it means the embassy can reach you if there's an emergency. I also carry a card in my wallet with my emergency contacts, medical conditions, and allergies written in English and translated into the local language of wherever I'm going. If something happens and I can't communicate, that card could save my life. Look, I'm not trying to scare anyone out of traveling. Like I said, I'm 81 years old, and I'm still planning my next adventure. Just last month, I booked a river cruise in Germany for this summer. Travel keeps me young. It keeps me engaged with life. It gives me stories to tell my grandkids and memories I'll treasure forever. But traveling after 70 requires more planning than it used to. It requires being honest with yourself about your limitations. It requires preparation and flexibility. And most importantly, it requires prioritizing your health and safety over checking items off a bucket list. Because the goal isn't to visit as many places as possible. The goal is to enjoy those places and come home safely with amazing memories. So if you're over 70 and you're thinking about traveling, do it. See the world, experience new cultures, eat amazing food, make memories, but do it smart. Plan ahead. Consider these 6 things, and don't let pride or stubbornness put you in a situation that turns a dream vacation into a medical emergency. Your family wants you to come home healthy and happy. And honestly, so do you. Now I'm going to finish packing for that Germany trip. But before I go, let me ask you this. What's on your travel bucket list? Where do you want to go? And more importantly, what are you doing to make sure you can actually enjoy it when you get there? Think about these 6 things. Talk to your doctor. Make a plan. And then get out there and see the world. Because life is short and the world is big, and there's still so much to see. You just need to be smart about how you do it. Safe travels, my friends. Safe travels.